if you're crushing in your career, but silently ashamed of your body or your habits, you're in the identity trap. Okay, no amount of desire of getting fit or growth in your career can actually help you break through this trap unless you understand this one thing. Okay, and the reason I even know about the identity trap and what this one thing is because I've encountered many men who have fallen victim to this trap, and I've been coaching for years. I've served hundreds of clients, and in that time, I've seen people be actually held back by their mindset, and I've actually learned how to liberate them and how to help them break through these mental blocks so that they can finally actualize their full fitness potential. Okay, and really what the identity trap is, if I could summarize it in a word or in a phrase, it's this: have, do, be, right? So a lot of guys have this thought in their brain that, hey, once I have a fit body, then I'll do what fit people do, and then I'll become a fit person, right? And then they're scrolling on social media, they're seeing all these people, that are just super fit, energized, confident, going on these runs, working out, pushing their bodies, and just living these radiant, abundant lives. And they look at these people like, oh, wow, those people are different than me. Like, oh, I wish I had a body like that. Like, if I had a body like that, I would do what those people do, and then I would be one of those people too. But there's a fundamental flaw with that way of thinking that keeps people stuck, keeps people trapped, keeps people chained to their current identity. Okay, so kind of how it works, like imagine there is, two identities here. This was identity one, and this was like, the default you, okay? Right, so imagine this guy probably is very similar to how you think of yourself right now. It's like, you know what? I gotta have like this limiting belief, this limited self-image on who he believes himself to be. So that, you know what? I'm just kind of like unhealthy, right? I'm just kind of like inconsistent. I'm unmotivated, right? I'm like not disciplined, right? I'm just like kind of like chunky, right? All these limiting labels, right? And this kind of represents like this limited default identity, okay? And this person might have this fundamental thought that like, hey, I wish, if I had a great body, if I had these different results, then I would do what fit people do, and then I would get to be how those, one of those fit people too, right? But I want to print out another identity right here, identity number 2, and this is the fit identity, right? So then imagine this other version of this guy that, he's flexing, he's got some muscles, right? He's got some quads, right? This guy is happy. This guy is a little bit sad, not confident. Okay, and this guy thinks of himself as the inverse, right? He's like, man, I am a healthy person, right? I'm very consistent, right? I am motivated, right? I'm toned, defined, disciplined, right? So what is the identity trap? Okay, well, the identity trap is literally like a ball and chain. Like imagine there's like, just like a chain hanging on this guy's leg that's just keeping him stuck, keeping him from actually being able to step into this new identity. And the reason is he has this idea that, okay, once I have these results, then I'll do what this person does. And when I do what this person does, then I'll finally be that kind of person too. Okay, this is the trap, the have, do, be. Okay, it's all about like, if you think that your results define you, and like, okay, just because right now I don't have the body that I want, I don't have the character traits that I want, I don't have the skills that I want, I don't have the habits that I want, that defines who I am. That defines my identity. If you think that way, that is gonna be like a ball and chain on your ankle, keeping you from ever actually making an identity shift, stepping into a new and better version of you. Okay, and I'm not just like talking out of my head here. Like the reason I can even say this is because I used to have that ball and chain on my ankle. I was the biggest procrastinator. I was the lazy guy. I was the guy that didn't care, the guy that didn't try, right? And because I thought of myself that way, I would look at people that were growth minded and I would be like, wow, like, wouldn't it be nice? Like those people are just different than me, right? And I never actually considered that I could be one of those people too, right? And the thing is that actually helped me break free from those old chains and actually helped me create this identity shift wasn't that I just all of a sudden magically woke up one day with those new results. It was I made a declaration to myself that I was tired of being the stagnant guy. I was tired of being the guy that didn't care, and I wanted to now be the guy that wanted to be the best version of himself, right? So here I am, still didn't have great results in my life, didn't have a great body, right? Didn't have a lot of, these circumstances around me that were supportive of my new identity. But what I did have was a mindset shift. I said, you know what? I want to be somebody that actually cares about being the best version of himself. That was the first domino. Once I had that intention, right? It was like, instead of the have, do, be, it was now the be, do, right? So see how I switched it around, right? So I finally break free from the identity trap, because I realized, okay, I have to be that person first. I have to be somebody that wants to be the best version of himself. I have to adopt that new growth-minded identity. And once I made that declaration, then I started doing the things that growth-minded people do. I started setting the habits. I started showing up to the gym. I started pushing myself, right? And because I did that, then I was able to obtain those great results, right? Like a muscular body, right? Like great energy, great confidence, all these awesome fruits. Okay, so the whole idea is, if you just treat yourself like how you are right now is who you are, and that just defines you, you'll never be able to liberate yourself from that, right? But the minute you say like, hey, regardless of how I look right now, and regardless of the past habits that I've had, if I can make a declaration internally in my mind that, you know what, I'm a fit person now. I'm committing to this new identity. I want to be somebody that's growth-minded. I want to be somebody that actually strives to be the best version of himself. And then you start reinforcing that intention with evidence, with action, with habits, then you'll have the results, right? So those people that you see on social media, right? When you're clicking their stories and you see them like going on these runs and you feel like, man, those people are like so happy and radiant and confident, like that could be you. All it takes is a clear decision of like, hey, I'm gonna be one of those people. And then, hey, I'm gonna set the same habits that they have. I'm gonna do the same behaviors that they do. I'm gonna take the same actions that they take. And then just give it a little bit of time and you'll have all the same results that they have too. Okay, so you don't need to have those results to then do the things that they do, to then be that person. You have to decide, hey, I wanna be that person, then start setting aligned actions, and then you'll have the same things that they have. And that's how you can actually break free from that ball and chain that's been on your ankles, right? So I'll give a couple more examples of some of my clients that have undergone the same identity shift. Okay, I wanna give an example of my client Lee, right? He lives right here in Tampa, and he was the type of dude that like, he used to have like a pretty chiseled body, and he had a very like goal type of approach. He had an old trainer that was like really like put him through the ringer, and he set like this short-term goal of, hey, I'm just gonna like push myself and like go through the grind to get this quick result. But then, after some time passed, and he kind of reverted right back to where he was. And he had like big, he had love handles. He wasn't really happy with his body. And what we did together is, I didn't say like, hey, Lee, like we're gonna just, really focus on going through this short-term goal. I didn't do that at all. I helped him create a new identity. We call it the ultimate Lee, right? The 10.0 version of Lee. And it's this new identity of like a radiant, consistent, right? Growth-minded, patient version of Lee. Like there's no rush. Like we're working together for an entire year. We have this new vision of like a better version of him. And then I'll say, all right, guess what? I'm gonna give you the permission right now to start to identify, not with who you are right now, Lee 1.0. I'm gonna give you the permission right now to start thinking of yourself as Ultimate Lee. You are Ultimate Lee. You know exactly what he looks like. You know exactly how he thinks. You know exactly how he identifies himself, and you know exactly what he does. That is who you are now. That's your new identity, right? And he's like, all right, I've never tried that before, right? And he has this new identity. He keeps it on the wallpaper on his phone, and every single day he shows up to his habits. He does all the things that Ultimate Lee does. Ultimate Lee sticks to his nutrition habits, right? Eats his 4 or 5 nutritious, protein-dense meals every day. So Lee was like, okay, I'm Ultimate Lee. Every single day, I do the things that he does. I'm stacking all this evidence, right? I'm stacking all this evidence, right? And there's no rush, right? It's just patience. I'm Ultimate Lee. I'm gonna do what Ultimate Lee does. I'm Ultimate Lee. I'm gonna do what Ultimate Lee does. And now we've been working together since March, so about 4 months. And he just sent me a text yesterday. He's like, dude, I haven't been this lean in forever. Like his love handles are disappearing. He's got like a 6-pack. But the most beautiful part is, it's not like we went through the grind and set this goal to get there. So I guarantee you, it's 6 months from now, he's gonna be even more shredded, have an even better body, right? Because there's no timetable, there's no end goal, right? It's just a new version of him that he just feels natural. Like if if you say you're Ultimate Lee and you do what Ultimate Lee does and you just give it enough time, there's no going back. Right now, you're just living your life. You're just operating at this new elevated standard. That's the beautiful part about the identity approach, right? I already explained my story. It's exactly what happened to me. I was procrastinator Jacob, didn't care Jacob. And then I was like, I want to be the best version of me, Jacob. I want to be the guy that tries his best, Jacob. And now there's no going back. I don't feel like procrastinator Jacob anymore because I decided who I wanted to be. I did what he did, and now I have what he has, right? And there's no going back, right? Same thing with one of my other clients, Jim. He used to be like all or nothing kind of guy, one end of the spectrum or the other. And then we created a vision of 70-year-old energetic Jim, right? Who is, isn't all or nothing, is very consistent, but it takes a long-term type of approach, a long-term mindset, right? He's lost 60 pounds, right? He's literally feeling like a completely new version of himself. And the difference maker was we didn't check, put him through the ringer. We didn't check, just, hey, are you, maniacally, just holding yourself like to the number on the scale? Like the number on the scale defines who you are. The number on the scale doesn't define who you are. What defines who you are is your mind, who you're committed to becoming, and then your actions. Am I doing the things that version of me does, right? You need both of these things. You need that clear commitment of who you want to become. You need to understand in detail what that version of you looks like, thinks like, how he identifies himself. And then you need to know, hey, these are the behaviors that he does. And then you need to do those behaviors. If you say, hey, I want to be, ultimately 70-year-old energetic Jim, growth-minded Jacob, but then you just don't act in alignment with that new identity, you'll just be kidding yourself, right? So the whole idea is like, let's say you've been thinking of yourself as like, hey, I'm not a fit person. I'm not a growth-minded person. No matter how much effort you take, if you have that fundamental limited belief that you're not like other fit people, right? That you're not a healthy person, but I'm just going to the gym because I have to, right? I'm just like, it feels like a chore, something I have to do just to be healthy, but I don't actually want to be a healthy person. No matter how much brute force effort you give, you'll always fall to the level of your self-image. So that's why first things first is you have to get crystal clarity on exactly what does that new version of you look like. Like if you were to create awesome results with your body, who would you have to become? But like, I know what your goal is. Your goal is you want to lose 10, 15 pounds of body fat. You want to build 10, 15 pounds of muscle, right? You want to have more confidence, right? That's, of course, those are the results that you want. But the good question to ask is, hey, who will I have to become to get those results? What is that new version of me? Because who you are right now can't achieve and possess what you aspire for tomorrow, okay? If you want new results, you're going to have to become more. If you want more, you have to become more. So your fitness will only grow to the extent that you grow as a person, right? So who you are today can't have what you want for tomorrow. You have to change. You have to be willing to evolve, ascend into a new identity, right? So you can't be the 1.0 version of you. You got to be willing to become the 10.0 version of you, right? And the way that you can actually create that transformation from the 1.0 you to the 10.0 you, is you got to stop defining yourself by what you have, and you got to start defining yourself for who you're becoming, right? It all starts in your mind. If you commit, hey, I am committed to becoming 10.0 me, who's fit, consistent, disciplined, growth-minded, surrounds himself with other fit people, and that's natural to me. And then you start showing up the way that he shows up, you'll have what he has. And not only that, you'll never fall off from it, right? So my client, Justin, for example, he used to think of himself as all these things, right? Like a procrastinator, lazy, unproductive, inconsistent, all right? And we created this new vision, this new identity of like, hey, this is success, Justin. This is thriving, Justin. This is the best version of you, right? And he was like, all right, so now he had this new intention, and 8 months later, he literally has like a six-pack now. He went from skinny fat to six-pack, but the best part is we didn't take the goal approach. I know he's not gonna fall off because that's just who he believes himself to be. Yeah, here's a really powerful quote from Atomic Habits, one of my favorite books, but he said, you will fight tooth and nail to maintain the identity that you think yourself to be, right? So basically what he's getting at is if you think of yourself to be a certain way, you will fight tooth and nail to create congruency with how you think of yourself, right? So for example, if I think of myself as like, I'm a type of dude that is fit, for example, right? I will fight tooth and nail to create congruency with how I think of myself, right? So if you think of yourself like, I'm not good at math, or I forget people's names, right? Or I'm clumsy, right? These are these identity labels that we put on ourselves just because of like how we grew up and like what we happened to kind of put on ourselves when we were younger. And then as we get older, we tend to live into these scripts, right? That are totally reversible, but you will never reverse it until you decide, hey, I don't want to be that kind of person anymore. I want to be this kind of person now. Then I'm going to do what they do. And then I'll finalize the identity shift and I'll have what they have. Okay. So the whole identity trap is stop defining yourself by what you have right now, your circumstances don't define you, right? Your current results don't define who you are. What defines you is your intentions, your minds, and your habits, okay? So you gotta have that. The minute you commit, hey, I wanna be the 10.0 version of me, I wanna be the fit me, and I'm gonna start doing what fit me does, and then just give it time, there's no timetable, just be patient, you will have what they have, and you will undergo complete identity transformation. Like my client, Ricky, for example, like when I started with him, he was literally like 300 pounds and thought of himself as, hey, I'm just like shy. I don't care, I'm indifferent, right? All these like limiting labels that he put on himself based on his past habits, right? But the first thing we did together is I really helped him believe that, no, you're not fat Ricky, you're gritty Ricky. Like, you're gritty Ricky. You're gritty Ricky. Like, you're strong, you're confident. Like, you're gritty freaking Ricky. Like, you have gritty freaking Ricky inside of you. Like, you have just an elite version of you that's within you. And if you could just look past your current results right now, really look deep within you and realize I actually do have a shit ton of potential inside of me. I have like a version of me within me that is just freaking crushing with his fitness. That is just showing up. That is just feeling that energy and that confidence, right? And the minute you have that in your mind and you can actually think of it often, right? Think of it with detail. You will never be able to shake it off, because that's the true you. Okay, your limitations don't define you, your circumstances don't define you, your potential defines you. I see greatness inside of you, I see fitness inside of you, just like I did with Ricky, right? And now Ricky, so far, he's down 30 pounds. He shows up to the gym every week, right? We don't have a timetable. I didn't say, hey, you gotta lose X amount of weight in X amount of months. I said, no, you're gritty Ricky. You're not 300 pounds, you're 170 pounds, muscular and lean. Right? And with the minute he decides and he declares and he commits that, hey, that is who I am, that's when, wow, you create this cognitive dissonance. Your mind thinks you're one way, but your results are incongruent with how you think of yourself. And the minute you create that cognitive dissonance, you create this gap, and that's where the motivation comes from. He'll show up every single day to create congruency with how he believes himself in his mind, right? But if he thinks of himself, I'm 300 pounds, stagnant, lazy Ricky, no matter how many times he goes to the gym, he's always gonna revert back to that limited identity, to that limited label. So it's so important that you get crystal clarity on the true you, the best version of you, the infinite potential version of you, the fit version of you. The minute you do that, and you can fabricate that motivation by creating that cognitive dissonance, creating that gap, it becomes an inevitability. You will reach it. As long as you hold that intention of, this is who I am, you don't waver from it. You don't let doubt creep in, look in the mirror one time, not see the results that you want, and say, oh, I guess I'm not a fit person. No, I don't care how many times you look in the mirror and don't see the results that you want. You'll only not get to where you want to be if you concede, if you make that concession of, hey, my results are who I am. I'm not fit me. The minute you say that, you're done for. You have to hold this with absolute certainty in your soul, and you have to create alignment. You have to take aligned actions. You can't just want it, but then not do what they do, right? So if you're saying, well, Jacob, how can I declare and identify myself as a fit person if I'm such a mess up? I keep on failing with my actions. Well, here's the thing. You have to truly decide, hey, I might not really believe it a ton right now, but every single time you take the right actions, it's like you're stoking your belief, right? You're adding sticks to that fire, and that belief grows and grows, right? So it's a two-step process. I don't care if you only believe it a little bit right now. If you can start setting the right habits, right? Start doing what the best version of you does, start doing what the fit version of you does, the belief is only gonna grow, right? And when you have that intention and you back it with that aligned action, I promise it will be an inevitability. So stop defining yourself by your results. Stop comparing yourself to people online. Stop thinking of them as different than you. Or, oh, I wish I had that body so then I can live the life that they live. You'll live the life that they live the minute you decide that is the true me. That is who I am. And I'm gonna do what that version of them, what that version of me would do. And then I'll have all those same outcomes that they have. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm empowered you to start to just think about, hey, who could I become? What is this new identity that I want to step into? And I hope I helped you just break free from that ball and chain that's been just on your ankle, that's just been letting your past and your shortcomings and your current results define who you are as your character, because I promise that's not who you are. Who you truly are is a fit, muscular, confident version of you. I'll promise you that. That's your true potential. That's your true identity. And it's time for you to start believing that, because the minute you believe it and you reinforce that belief, with some massive action and setting some new habits, it will become an inevitability. That's what I see for you in your future. And if you actually want to work through this process together, right? Sometimes it can be hard to create that new vision of a better, more fit version of you on your own, right? That is literally what I specialize in. That's my life mission, is helping people step into their most fit self. All right, so go ahead and you can just DM me the word optimize on Instagram. We can have a conversation. Honestly, like, you don't even need to DM me the word optimize. Just reach out to me. Just say, Jacob, I saw that video. How can you help? Like, dude, I'll just have a conversation. I'll like genuinely help you. Okay. This is what I do. So I hope that was helpful. I know it's a little bit ethereal, like it's a little bit, up there in the clouds, but I truly believe this is the difference maker. And if you feel like you're in the identity trap, I know how that feels. It's not a fun feeling. And I want to see you break free from it. I want to see you step into your full potential, to your true identity. So hope that helped. Go ahead, reach out to me. Let's come up with a game plan and I can actually help you become that 10.0 version of you. Or if you don't actually want help yet, just at least keep watching more of my videos. Maybe you'll be able to extract some value and make some important steps and just do some of this internal work on yourself, even on your own. That would be awesome too. But either way, hope this makes sense, guys. And I just want to leave you with this. Just kidding, I don't have anything insightful right now. I'll see you guys in the next video.